Hello, beautiful viewers. Welcome to the Rising Show on Social Studio. I am Mercy Ojo. With me in the studio is my adorable colleague who will be joining us on the show to discuss important issues in Nigeria and the breaking news on Nigerian newspapers. And I'll allow her to introduce herself.
Hello, beautiful viewers. Welcome to the Rising Show. I am Daniela Ude.
Yeah, Daniela is welcoming you to the show. Welcome once again. So today on the show we'll be starting with the nation's newspaper. The nation's newspaper, and we have the leading story as hiccups in PVC distribution. Hiccups in PVC distribution over the news and in all the states in the federation. Now it's the PVC collection time, and now we are now having hiccups in PVC distribution. And also the sub-story saying prospective voters research centers. Prospective voters research centers, we are addressing challenges. So there are different challenges in the PVC distribution ahead of the 2023 general elections. Also on the nation's newspaper, we have Senate to CBN, adjust cash withdrawal limits. Senate to CBN, adjust cash withdrawal limits. Like that can be found on page 7. 20,000 naira withdrawal limits per day. Like, Daniela, what do you think about that?
I think I go with the Senate. I think I go with what the Senate has just said. They should adjust the withdrawal limits because I think it's too small. With
Like,
the campaign going on, the kind of businesses we do in Nigeria, I think there should be an adjustment to
do you know that sometimes businessmen like transactions that are worth millions of naira, and if CBN is saying they are limiting the withdrawal cash withdrawal, that is going to really be a huge shock on the business listing
to have
on
serious
Nigeria,
impact on our
because
businesses.
yes, the economic part will also be down. Like 20,000 naira in this Nigeria today, what would you buy? What would you even buy
That's
for
all.
a
It's not
person? Okay, let me now come to your wig now. If you want to buy a wig, that was on a lighter note.
Let's
If
not
you
even
have-
go there.
I'm telling you, if you want
Yeah.
to tell me that I want to buy your wig.
Okay. So, we also have on the nation, federal government okays whistleblowers bill to strengthen anti-graft war. So, still on the whistleblower issue. Then we move on to The Guardian. Here we have the major headline. It says 80 billion naira USSD debts weaken digital channels as new naira notes arrive. It says visit your bank today for redesigned bills. CBN urges Nigerians. Then we also have here on The Guardian, it says US partnership with Africa key to world success, says Biden. That can be seen on page 5 of The Guardian newspaper.
Okay, also on the Guardian newspaper, we have NCC raises the alarm as malware attacks over 300,000 devices. NCC raises the alarm as malware attacks over 300,000 devices. And that can be found on page 3 of the Guardian newspaper. Like, this is pathetic. Like, this is pathetic. Also on the Guardian newspaper, we have Kudirat's mother, Abiola's children sued Buhari, seek $10 million compensation. Kudirat's mother, Abiola's children sue President Muhammadu Buhari, and they are seeking for $10 million compensation.
Let's see where this takes us.
Yeah. Also on the Guardian newspaper, we have Fashola visits as second Niger bridge opens today.
Wow.
Fashola visits as second Niger bridge opens today. Do you know I'm excited about this second Niger bridge? Because it's going to ease the stress of road vehicles.
Movement,
Yes, it's going to make everything swift, especially coming at this period that it's the festive period where everybody wants to travel down to their route. And now, oh my God, this is going to hit movement in Nigeria, and I'm excited about it. Aren't you excited?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, moving on to the Daily Independent newspaper, we have the leading story: federal government to tighten tax admin to augment revenues, create jobs. FG to tighten tax admin to augment revenues, create jobs. And we can also find under it OK's 9.24 billion naira for life insurance for public servants. Okay, they want them to okay 9.24 billion naira for life insurance for public servants.
And he also talks about the whistleblowers policy. He says federal government, he says, laments whistleblowers policy has lost momentum since people are no longer forthcoming with the whistleblower thing.
You know, people are scared.
Yes.
Because when you whistleblow, when you like, they're not protected. Like, do you get, like, you cannot just come forward and say this, and possibly at the end during the investigation, because power pass power, if I should use that word, and then they get to feel like, okay, who's actually said this, and it's like, oh, it's this person. It's going to, like, do you get, the next person will never say anything else.
That's
because there's no confidentiality.
Yeah.
There's nothing to show that this if I should say this, there's no protection. So people are not coming out to talk about things they are seeing that are going wrong in Nigeria today. So that could be the reason.
So the Daily Independence here, we also have stakeholders ask incoming governments to declare emergency on power. I think that's necessary.
Really? Why do you say so?
I think that's necessary. With the whole issue we are having with our power system in the country, I think it's necessary. There should be an emergency on that sector.
There should actually be emergency,
Yes,
because
there should be.
for us, like for a country to function properly, you actually need power. Power is just like everything now. Because without power, we cannot even have this show. We cannot use torchlight, we cannot use candle for this show.
Yes.
We can't project it to the public. And also, if there is no power, there is no fall. Like, if we don't have power and we still do not have fall, where are we going? What are we saying? What are we talking about? Like, it's so pathetic that a country so rich like this, we do not have the basic things needed for the development of the country. So I feel there should actually be an emergency on the power sector. Also, on the Daily Independent newspaper, we have court set aside contempt proceedings, committal order against IGP. Court sets aside contempt proceedings, committal order against IGP. That can be found on page 6. So now, like the IGP issue where, according to reports so far, that it did not show up when it was supposed to show up, when it was summoned to show up, it did not come up. So it's really a big one. And now courts are now setting aside contempt proceedings, committal order against IGP. Okay, let's see where this leads us to. Okay, also on Daily Independent newspaper, we have, I've done my best in 7.5 years. This is coming from President Muhammadu Buhari. He's saying he has done his best in 7.5 years. Like,
over to the next one. Native Banks panel on oil theft insists Nigeria lost 12.25 trillion naira in 12 years.
do you know that is huge?
12.25 trillion naira in 12 years.
Do you know that is more like Nigeria is losing one point something trillion every year. Because if this is in 12 years and we have 12.25 trillion naira, like, and on oil theft, like, this is
huge.
Like, what
It's
where
huge.
is it coming from? We have oil, we have everything it takes, and now I don't even know what to say, because Nigeria today should have passed this.
Yes.
We should
gone
have
past this
gone
stage.
beyond
Yes.
this. Like, the oil should have been preserved. The oil should have, by now we should even have refineries. Like, not just refineries, we should have refineries. I pray something good comes out.
That's it.
Coming 2023, and with the new oil discovery in Bauchi State, like, I know Nigeria will be better, and we also together we can make it better. That's
So
what-
here on Blueprint newspaper, we have Senate wants Apex Bank to adjust withdrawal limits.
Just what we talked about.
Yes.
And it's having new currency. I'll increase accessibility use of banks with this new currency. That there will be an increase in accessibility, and also withdrawal limits unrealistic, injurious to people's well-being. That's coming from lawmakers. Like, it's true.
Yes.
Aside, let's even leave the political aspect. We are talking about the campaigns. Of course, the campaigns will actually need money. You need money to fund. You need money to fund your campaigns. You need money to fund so many things. But now, when you are saying 20,000 naira in a day, like buying a bag of rice, that means if you want to buy a bag of rice now is about 40 something thousand, if I'm not mistaken. Or if it has not gone up, and I'm sure it has not gone down. So if you want to buy a bag of rice, you first of all go. You withdraw 20,000 today.
Yes,
the next day you come back, you withdraw 20,000. The third day you come back, you withdraw 20,000. Like, you go hungry. You go hungry. The rice seller will not get to sell.
Yes.
Oh, I just hope something.
Then
will
I think
be done.
with this whole idea of 20k withdrawal limit per day, the system we have in this country now, actually in our banking sectors, you want to withdraw, POS is telling you there is no network. You go to ATMs, you can't withdraw. You go to boutiques, you go to places, you want to buy stuff, you're trying to make transfer, they're telling their network are not good. Like the other day I went to buy something, like I had to go across to go and withdraw from a bank there before coming in to pay. So it's good we go cashless, but I think they have to put some things in place before putting up this kind of policies.
Actually, it's true, because I've actually worked in a bank before, and then customers come, sometimes there's no network, and they get stuck at where they are supposed to get things, and it's more like, they come, sometimes they are so stressed already, and they come to pour their gun on us in the bank. They'll be like, I've been trying to use this, I've been trying to do that. And then I'll be like, sir, please don't be angry. You know, when we are doing maintenance, it's always like that, like that, like that, like that. So there could be network, except if those issues will be resolved. And come to think of it, how many people have smartphones?
That's true.
Okay, if I'm not talking about the mobile apps that goes on smartphone and other phones too, maybe they could use the ESSD. But then, how many people are actually really into it? Like, you go to meet a 80-year-old grandmother that is staying all alone by herself, and maybe sometimes she just needs the assistance of maybe her neighbors to go and get her something, and you now tell her, Mama, I bring your phone, make I use and transfer to the person they sell the thing. You get as it be now.
Yes.
It's not really. I just feel there should be something more.
The security of the country, financially and otherwise, I don't even think it's wise to do that. So, at all, I don't think it's wise.
I think you should share your experience. Okay, let's move forward. Still on the Blueprint newspaper, we have on page 5, after several killings, Enugu residents comply with sit-at-home order. After several killings, Enugu residents comply with sit-at-home order, and that can be found on page 5 of the Blueprint newspaper. Okay, and still moving forward, we have on page 15 saying Bauchi police begin investigation into plugging of 12-year-old boy's eye. Like, police, please, you people should begin. People should begin and do everything, because how could you plug out the eye of an individual, of a human being, somebody you did not create? And come to think of it, you are now plugging a 12-year-old boy's eye. The boy has parents, he has siblings, he has relations, and a human being. You also have children. If you don't have children, you have siblings. If you don't have siblings, you have parents. If you don't have those, you have friends. And even if you don't have anybody, you have yourself. Come to think of it, somebody coming to plug out these God-given eyes. Please, police, begin it ASAP. Like, we need reports. The next time we should be discussing, there should be reports on this.
Yes,
not
just it.
Because
I think it's not just beginning the investigation. We actually like to know how the discoveries,
going.
yes,
Because things
the
cannot keep
findings
happening
in the
like
whole
this
process.
in the
Because
country.
there are times that you set up and start investigation on cases like this, and then it just fizzles out. We don't get to hear what happened next and all that. So we actually like that when these investigations begin, please let's see that some persons are brought to book, please.
Yeah, very correct.
So we also have on blueprints here, it says federal government budgets 220.5 billion naira for Niger Delta in 7 years. Executes 553 projects. That can be found on page 15 of the blueprint newspaper.
Okay, still on the blueprint newspaper, we have Tinubu at Niger. It's time to reap benefits of our available resources. Tinubu at Niger, it's time to reap benefits of our available resources. Under it, we have inaugurates presidential campaign office donated by Malagi. Also, every child will access education. Article tells varsity professionals. Every child will have access to education. Article tells varsity professionals. We really need to step up in our educational system, because in Nigeria I'm seeing that the educational system is suffering, where lecturers cannot go to class, where lecturers are not really paid. Like, do you get? It's just like when you are not paid, you're not really, you are not encouraged to do more. When you have been taking, do you know these professors, lecturers, teachers? Let's even start with teachers. They are the ones that mold us. They're the ones that teach us government. They're the ones that teach us things that make us to become people in society. Before you get into politics, you must have read the rudiments of government. And they were teachers. It was teachers that taught you those things. If teachers were not there, you wouldn't have been enlightened. So for now, and now we are now looking at it, that those teachers that were supposed to be, they are supposed to be celebrated. Teachers are supposed to be, in fact, teachers are supposed to be earning more. They're supposed to be earning more, because what they do, just have a child, try to teach that child one day, or just stay at home one day with that child. I'm telling you, you'll be like, go to school, because you are feeling what teachers are feeling.
Yes.
And coming to from teacher, you now become lecturer, you become professor. Lecturers and professors are still teachers, but then when they are not being paid properly, when they are not encouraged, they cannot even foot their bills, they cannot do the basic things they need to do. And you now expect them to sit down, read, do research, and bring out things like, it's not possible, because eventually the educational system might go bankrupt, and that's why we have people jackpotting out of the country.
We just pray we're able to get to that point as a country where things about basic things that everyone deserves in life as a human, which I think education is part of. I just pray we get to that point where these are not part of what people use during elections. These are not things people should be using as electoral promises.
It should be
When
part
we come
of
in, we'll do
us.
this. Election and education shouldn't be at that level right now. So I just pray we get to that point where these people come in and then they are able to execute this and make our education to be among world standard, and then we don't have to be seeing this every 4 years as electoral plans that these are our candidates, presidential candidates and governorship candidates come up with and promise us education. So and just pray we are able to get to that point.
And it's pathetic that they send their children out of the country to study, while the average Nigerian is still struggling to pay fees, and after paying fees, lecturers are not being paid. Like, it's pathetic. I just pray Nigeria will get better. I pray things will start making more sense. Do you know? Okay, I don't know. Maybe I should just leave that. Okay, let me just talk about it. I've forgotten the country. Before we close, if I remember, I will tell you. They were supposed to celebrate their independence. They are supposed to mark their democracy, the independence. And she was like the president. She's the female president of one African country, and she was like, they're not going to celebrate it until she discovered the dormitories. That instead of them spending billions of money on just the celebration, that no, they'll use that money to build dormitories, to build hostels for the school children, which is applaudable because
See what a man can do. So moving on to Daily Sun, we have here Senate asks CBN to adjust withdrawal limit. Under it, we have claims policy will cause hardship. Put POS. Okay, sorry. Claims policy will cause hardship. Put POS operators out of business.
This is the same thing that Senate is asking CBN. Like this
That's
is more
it.
like the leading stories on all Nigerian newspapers.
Yes.
Because they are saying it claims policy will cause hardship. True. Because it's not everybody that have the time to go to the bank.
That's true.
But put POS operators out of business. POS as lifesavers now. Do you know it's been a while I've been to the bank to go and do withdrawals or anything. I just use POS like in this city of Abuja. Before you, in fact, before you say you want to go to a bank,
Yes.
in fact, all your transport is already out. So POS operators are actually helping us out.
They come in handy.
They come in handy. Like just you walk and you get things at ease. So I think the Senate are actually right about this.
Wow, and we also have here on Daily Sun, it says sit at home cost Southeast 4 trillion naira. It says reports highlights losses of businesses, individuals. IPOB sues ECBA, 3 others. This can be found on page 27 and 28 of the Daily Sun.
You know, sitting at home, like I've stayed in jails where we've had curfew, where we've had emergencies, where we sit at home, where businesses. Let me not even go to jails. Let me relate it to COVID-19, when we're all asked to sit at home. Do you know the amount? Like almost every country had losses economically then.
Sure, yes.
Because when people don't go out, there are no businesses.
So many people had to go out of business that period.
Do you get?
Yes.
So many rich people became
Yes,
poor,
yes.
and that should not even be it.
But
Like,
funny enough, some people actually
see, there's
made it
always
during that period.
no,
too.
there's always that definitely happens.
Yes.
But when majority of the people
Are
suffer,
losing,
yes, do you know it's no longer profit because
Yes.
it's just like now having, if you are the only rich person in your family and every other person are poor, eventually that rich person will become poor because those poorer people will come to you for money. Do you get? So the rich now becomes poor. So now if one person is getting richer and 9 people are getting poorer, then we are not going anywhere.
Yes.
We are still
So
advanced.
it says sit at home is costing the Southeast 4 trillion naira. Then we also have there, it says Enugu Assembly clarifies stand. Comments Ugwanye on security. So under it we have it blames latest development on activities of saboteurs. That can be found on page 4 of Daily Sun.
Okay, and moving on First News newspaper, we still have on it as Buhari says he has done his best as president.
Wow.
He has done his best as president. Okay, moving on, we have Labour Party postpones Ekiti Ondo campaigns. Labour Party postpones Ekiti Ondo campaigns. Also, we have why Tinubu left Mina rally early, APC PCC. Why Tinubu left Mina rally early? And like it was more like it came in 7 minutes, and because the crowd were not controlled, like it was just like it kept trying to stop them. But then maybe the crowds were too excited to have him join them. But then shouldn't have made him to leave early because I feel since there are protocols there, they should have curtailed it. There should be a way the crowd could have been silenced and no address, nothing.
Okay. So if you want to know more on that, you can visit First News.
Okay, we'll still have on First News we have how terrorists operate as another government in Kaduna. This is coming from Councillor. How terrorists operate as another government in Kaduna. So terrorists are having another government. And according to the councillor, it says they collect levies from residents. Oh, this is interesting. Like terrorists are now collecting levies. They are now government. So they are collecting revenues. They have revenue. Is there a book for the revenue?
This is really poor. It's bad. It's depressing to see how these terrorists have been able to mingle among these persons. Like they've infiltrated the whole area, and to the point where these people still have the mind and the audacity to come out and then tax residents for levies. So our
So-
government, we pray and we hope and we have the faith that you can do something about this.
So if terrorists can actually collect levies, so why can't we get the terrorists? Because if we can collect levies, they are humans. So how are they able to collect levies? Do you get?
Kudirats. Abiola's children drag federal government to ECOWAS court. Seek $10 million compensation. This is First News, and this story seems to have been making the headline on most of our major papers.
Yeah, because they are even suing government over failure to protect their mother. They also challenge violation of fundamental human rights to life and dignity of human person of the late Mrs. Abiola. They challenge the violation of fundamental human rights to life and dignity of human person of the late Mrs. Abiola. Also, they urge courts to make an order directing FG to charge Sergeant Barnabas Jebila, also known as Rogers, Mohammed Abdul, also known as Katako. We have Aminu Mohammed with Kudirat's mother in 1996. I'm sure were you born that time? Have you been born? Confess.
Not on air.
Okay, Daniela did not want to say she was born. I don't know. How did you want to say it?
No, that's what we are talking about right now.
Okay.
So on to the new
Okay, for me
Telegram.
then I've been born though. So people, I've been born that time, so don't mind Daniela. She did
Oh,
not
really?
tell us.
So you're part of them. So we are moving on to the new Telegraph, and here we have cashless policy. It says adjust withdrawal limits upward. Senate urges CBN.
Okay.
So
So we
under
are-
it we have Senator Kalu proposes 500,000 naira for individuals, 3 million naira for corporate bodies daily. And then we also have Red Chamber confirms Aishat Edward for second term as CBN deputy governors. Wow.
That is good news.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Congratulations to them.
Okay, we also have FG to review whistleblower policy in line with Evidence Act.
Acts. Okay.
Actually, there should be an evidence, not just coming forward to say this person.
I actually like the fact that they are reviewing this whistleblower policy thing. Because from the very beginning and from having seen things going, I just feel some things are not in place. So if you want to know more on that story, you can visit page 7 and 8 of the New Telegraph.
And also on the New Telegraph, we have the former president of Nigeria, Jonathan, as he sues for peace, unity ahead of 2023 polls. Jonathan seeks for peace, unity ahead of 2023 polls. Actually, there is need for peace during the polls. If there is no peace, if there is no unity, people will not come out to vote.
You
And
can say
will
we
not
had a
get-
credible election.
Yeah, and we will not get the credibility needed in the
Yes.
elections.
So on to Nigerian Tribune, we have thousands of northerners selling their PVCs for about 2,000 naira. Nef.
Daniela,
Real
2,000
reasons
naira.
politicians are buying PVCs, party leaders speak.
2,000 naira to sell PVC.
That's what we say.
You are selling your rights. You are selling your rights to fundamental human rights.
Not just your
You're
rights.
you are selling your rights to freedom of expression.
Yeah.
You're selling your rights to life. You're selling your rights to so many things for just 2,000 naira.
I think this shows the kind of level of political awareness that we have in this country.
I just wanted to
And as
say
much
that.
as individuals and organizations and public and private bodies have been trying to educate persons on the wrongs of selling your PVCs and electoral malpractices, I just see that so many persons are still adamant, and 2,000 naira I don't think is enough for you to sell your PVC,
In
your
fact,
future and that of your children.
There is no amount that could, because it's just like you are selling off your children already. It's more like you are putting yourself in a slavery.
Yes, yes.
It's pathetic. It's very pathetic. Okay, we also have the Nigerian Tribune. Buhari orders opening of second Niger bridge today. That is actually, I'm so happy. I think I should dance to that because now things will be easier. Please, my people, even as you are planning for Christmas, please, save small. Save small for the new year. Because new year, before they will pay salary, the ending of the year, and since January
New Year, we have 3 months in 1 month. I'm telling you.
It's
You look at January and you think you spend like 20 days, and then you look at the calendar and it's
baby
just
girl,
day 7, and you're like, what?
am I gonna pull through?
Yeah.
I'm sure you'll be able to pull through. So beautiful people, thank you for always staying true. Thank you for always viewing. Thank you for always recommending. Thank you for always sharing. You know, this is still the Rising Show on Social Studio. Please always like, subscribe, follow us on every of our social media handles
Yes.
on Social Studio, and you get us right on there. So even like we really need you, we need you, we need you, we need you, and we love you. So this is where we'll draw the curtain. I remain Mercy Ojo, and
I am Daniela Ude.
do have a great day.